this is, in my opinion, very cool. Might be a little bit cost prohibitive for some folks. Not even going front. This is not a cheap hobby by a long shot, but I can see the reason why people enjoy it. This coming from someone who had never heard of it, but played games like D&D and Vampire and other tabletop role-playing games.
These are the poster boys of Games Workshop. The Adeptus Astartes, more commonly known as Space Marines, are the Emperor's Angels of Death.
Now, to be honest with you, I could go with Space Marines, but that's just, number one, I think that's boring. Like, I get it. They may be the perfect starting army, probably, but it's just too obvious, too boring, just too bland. If that makes any sense, so I'm gonna rule them out.
The Space Wolves are the Emperor's executioners. They will hunt down their enemies and tear them apart, no matter the odds. Their Viking heavy and wolf aesthetics is one that looks great on the tabletop, and their unique...
Okay, I'll be honest. These right here are intriguing, but it's still Space Marines at the end of the day, right? At least that's the aesthetic. Granted, the Viking and the wolf aesthetic and stuff like that, it's interesting. But that's definitely one I'm keeping in mind for maybe later on after I taken to actually have an army built and play a little bit. Something like that's kind of interesting. I mean, it's a nice little variance from just run-of-the-mill Space Marine. So, yeah.
The Thousand Sons were the second traitor legion to be made into their own independent army. The once loyal servants of the Emperor, led by Magnus the Red, were corrupted by the Chaos god Tzeentch during the Horus Heresy. On the tabletop, the Thousand Sons armies revolve around squads of rubric Marines, empty suits of power armor animated by chaos magic, supported by powerful sorcerers, and of course, the Demon Primarch Magnus too.
Alright, so I'm not even gonna lie. That might be the coolest, like, sub-legion of Space Marines. The fact that, number one, they're not regular Space Marines. They got psychic powers and stuff like that. But two, the color scheme. That, I just love the teal color. Like, that's one of my favorite shades of blue. Because it's got that nice, it's a nice bluish green combo. Just, that looks awesome. Rimmed with gold. And you got that demon, like, that's definitely there on the list too. I don't know if we're going to take that probably later. At some point in time, just, even if it's just to take and put up on a shelf because they look cool. As far as a color scheme. But not this go round.
The Aeldari, also known as the Eldar, are an ancient and enigmatic race in the Warhammer 40k universe. Once a mighty empire, their civilization now faces the consequences of their own hubris. Masters of advanced technology, intricate psychic abilities, and unparalleled craftsmanship, they once reigned supreme. The Eldari's dwindling numbers and fragmented society make them desperate and cautious, but they remain an immensely powerful and influential race in the universe. On the tabletop, the Aeldari are a glass cannon force. The majority of your units are really fast and do a lot of damage, but are very fragile.
I'll be honest, that's one of the cooler looking units or armies that I've seen is the Aeldari. They're basically what, space elves, just by going off of some of their lore. But just the fact that they don't look anything like Space Marines. That's a 100% positive. And don't get me wrong, it's not that I have anything against Space Marines and their aesthetic. It's just that there's so much, like, just due to the lore, like the fact there's like 20 different legions that have of Space Marine in some form or fashion, whether they're the Imperium or they're not. And you know, they went to the chaos side and, you know, evil and stuff like that. Like that's a whole lot of samey. Even if you just take and put a different, you know, paint a different color scheme on it. For gameplay wise, I get why you would take and choose at least Space Marines. Probably the easiest one, or at least the baseline, right? What everybody associates with Warhammer 40k. So, oh, that'll be the first army. So I 100% get the psychology behind that, and folks will pick it. But it's just, this looks a whole lot cooler. So, space elves, basically. And it's not technically space elves, but just due to some of their like glass cannon, the fact that they're basically an ancient race and stuff like that, been around for a long time, and all this like reminds me of elves, basically. And Aeldari, just yeah, I think this is basically the game workshop's version of elves, but just for space.
Chaos demons were created by the energies of the warp, and they are constantly being reborn in the fires of conflict. They are a diverse group, and they come in all shapes and sizes. They are the embodiments of the 4 Chaos Gods' dark aspects. Chaos demons have a huge diversity of playstyles depending on the god the demons come from, although most rely on close range and combat to get the job done.
Okay, I'm gonna be honest with you. The Chaos Demons, the variants, Slanesh and not only them, but the Chaos Demons themselves, like they look like imps and stuff like that. You got the Plague Demons, basically. Like just the fact that you got such variants. Also, they look really freaking cool. Holy crap, they look really freaking cool. And on the plus side, because I've looked at pricing on them, pretty reasonable for the most part. Now, some of the singles can get really expensive, like over $100 for a single mini. Just granted, it's the Primarchs and it's some of the Archdemons and stuff like that. That's a little bit hard to swallow, but they look cool as hell. That's the only thing is, my understanding is they're supposed to be taken and basically, I guess there's some changes that are being made to Chaos Demons and how they're being played. My understanding is instead of playing Chaos Demons as like a separate army in and of themselves, it'd be more like summonings or whatever, or be able to take and be played alongside of. And these are basically, my understanding is they can already do it, Thousand Suns and Chaos Knights, and I think there's another one. But instead of taking and being their own set-aside army, they're going to be taken to be folded in. Which to me, in my opinion, is just, why? That's stupid. No. Keep them separate. They just look badass, dude. Seriously. But because of that, like, once I see, okay, no, they won't be folded in. It's the only thing that's preventing me whatsoever of actually going, aha, they're the ones.
Kin are a clone race of resilient and pragmatic warriors who together form the ancient leagues of Votan. Given wisdom and purpose by their ancient ancestor cores, armed and armoured by the pounding pistons of the forge, they scour the galaxy for the resources to expand their works and overcome any foe that stands between them and a profitable mining prospect. On the tabletop, the Leagues of Votan are a slow-moving, durable shooting army with some very solid vehicles to ferry their troops around while providing some incredible firepower. Eye of the Ancestors is their crown jewel, where they judge the enemy units up to 2 times for killing yours, granting you extra bonuses to hit and wound against them.
Winner, chicken dinner. The fact that they're space dwarves. For me, that's all I need to hear. Just because I love the concept. One of the things with most like high fantasy or dark fantasy stuff that you get, whether it's taken base out of like, medieval type stuff or a medieval type setting with swords and shields and sorcery, or like with this, which is set in the very distant future and it's in space, you've still, the Aeldari basically are elves. Just looking at lore and the description of stuff like that. The only thing missing is pointy ears, I guess, maybe. I haven't looked too deep into them. I've read a brief overview of most of these a little bit, but it was more of I want to take and see what some of these armies look like. And The Aeldari stood out. The Tau Empire looked really cool, or looks really cool. These though, these are it. Space. How do you space dwarves? Gimli in space, basically, right? Just with super advanced weaponry, you know. But that's it. That's the one we're going with. Yes. So, and one thing I will say, like the combat patrol is $140, but Steeljacks, I believe, are the second most, and they're a newer. Like they've just come out with them, or they're a new, I guess, regiment within the Votan army. So I like that right there. But they're like $70 on Amazon for the Steeljacks. The combat patrol being $140. Like that's the most expensive one that I've seen. Like this, the Chaos Demons look really cool. Damn, some of the single ones for over $150. And it was like, oh, I can't justify that. Let me look for something else. This though, this from like $30 to $140 is the top I've seen at the moment. And Space Dwarves. So we're gonna take and go with these guys. And yeah, this is a little bit superfluous and, you know, how do you take it? Self-indulgent, you know, just cause I'm gonna take and show you kind of my thought process behind choosing the army. We're gonna take and build this on the channel. The one thing though, how the hell do I play this game?